Oh.
We're good? Okay. Good evening and welcome to the Township Committee meeting of June 9th, 2020. Ms. Brock, can you please call the roll?
Committeeman Delcor.
Here.
Committeewoman Holmes.
Here.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Lapani.
Here.
Mayor Thompson.
Here.
Administrator Ferreira.
Here.
Attorney Willard.
Here.
Attorney Bernstein.
Here. Okay, please join me to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
The United States
and
of
to the
America,
republic for which it
to the republic
stands,
for which
one
it
nation,
stands,
under God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with justice for all.
liberty, and justice for all.
All right, please be advised that in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was made by the posting on the bulletin board at the Hillsborough Township Municipal Complex and the Township website, and notifying the officially designated newspapers that this meeting would take place at the Hillsborough Township Municipal Complex at 7:30 p.m. on June 9th, 2020. Members of the public may participate in this meeting via teleconference bridge by dialing into 888-204-5987 and entering access code 260-4706. This meeting is also being live streamed on the Township's YouTube channel. First up this evening is approval of the minutes. May I have a motion to approve the executive session minutes of December 17th, 2019?
I'll move that.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Committeeman Delcor.
Yes.
Committeewoman Holmes.
Abstain.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lapani.
Yes.
Mayor Thompson.
Yes. May I have a motion to approve executive session minutes of February 25th, 2020?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Committeeman Delcor.
Yes.
Committeewoman Holmes.
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lapani.
Yes.
Mayor Thompson.
Yes. I'm sorry, abstain. I apologize. I had to miss that meeting. May I have a motion to approve the executive session minutes of April 14th, 2020?
So moved.
Thank you. When do you second? Just hi.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Committeeman Delcor.
Yes.
Committeewoman Holmes.
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lapani.
Yes.
And Mayor Thompson.
Yes. First up, before we get to committee reports from our committee liaisons, I wanted to give an opportunity to call up our Police Chief McMahon just to talk about a couple things. Obviously, our country has been shaken by the events that happened in Minneapolis, and I felt that it's important because we received numerous emails from the public about concerns about our police department in general, that the police chief takes a minute just to talk about why Hillsborough is a little different in terms of what we've been doing here in town. So Chief, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Yes, we've had numerous inquiries from residents over the last week regarding policing and policy concerns in the wake of George Floyd's death. I just wanted to take a few minutes to remind the public that we as police officers are also outraged by the unnecessary death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. The actions observed and lack of action taken by those officers is contrary to our training and is no way representative of our dedicated men and women here at the Hillsborough Police Department. We pride ourselves on being a professional organization that's committed to protecting and serving all individuals, regardless of race, religion, gender, social, or economic status. We are an accredited police agency, recognized for adhering to the best practices in law enforcement. Our policies are governed by the Attorney General's guidelines, and our officers are held accountable to the highest standards here. We're fortunate to have a positive relationship with our community, and rest assured that we are going to continue to serve you with the utmost professionalism every day.
Okay. Thank you, Chief. As I've said in the past, I'll say it again, we should all work to expose racism and demand justice for the murder of George Floyd. And we need to continue to have dialogue in this community and in communities across this country. There needs to just be more conversations and spread a message of kindness and compassion throughout. So I appreciate it. I appreciate you being open to answer. I saw how many emails you've been answering over the last week. I'm sure you'll continue to do that and to address any concerns that are brought before us. So on behalf of myself and I believe the entire Township Committee, thank you for doing that. We do have a resolution on the agenda later to address our feelings on racism in general. So if there's any other comments, I think we should hold off until that point, if that's okay with all my colleagues up here. Okay, but if, Chief, if you could stick around just in case there's any questions from the public later on in the agenda. So, thank you, Chief. Okay, first up, Committeeman Delcor.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to thank the chief for his comments. I think we're fortunate here in Hillsborough to have such a professional group, and appreciate your work in trying to heal the community, so thank you for that. You know, it seems like COVID has taken a significant backseat, but there's still significant issues.
Committeeman, if you could just talk more into the microphone.
Are we dealing with that one or this one?
That one in front of you, it's just that you have to really speak into it.
So
Thank you.
it seems as though all we've talked about for the last 3 months is COVID, and I know the events recently have certainly put that a bit on the back burner, but there are still some things that I want to make sure our residents are aware of. Of course, we continue to provide a social net, to a safety net for social purposes to our residents, especially those facing financial difficulties. Our community assistance network has been providing a significant amount of non-perishable food and toiletries and other needs to our community. We've been given very generous donations by a number of our business communities, our residents, and other locations, other communities. So I just wanted to thank them and let people know that we still have that service available. Our community assistance network is here to provide support for anyone that needs it. And I just wanted to make sure people were aware of that. If anyone would like to take advantage or utilize any of those services, you could do so in any manner discreetly if necessary. But you can call the office at 908-369-3880 or through the Social Services Department website. And again, thanks to the many residents and local organizations that have provided donations. And I'd also like to thank Royce Golf Course for their continued partnership with social services in providing meals for a number of our seniors who are housebound with limited capacity to obtain food amid the pandemic. So thank you to all of them, and just please know we're still here to help, especially our assistance network. The health department, as you can imagine, has been really working significant hours trying to deal with the pandemic, but there are also other things that still need to be dealt with. Within that is still the pet vaccination and rabies, as well as licensing. So anyone that has any issues with their pet licensing or any vaccinations, you could please reach out to the health department or on the website, and a dog license application or renewal can be found and done directly on the township website. We continue to receive guidance from the state regarding the opening procedures for child care facilities, summer camp, and pool guidance. I think today there was actually some positive guidance on all of those items. So that the governor made some announcements as if the pool openings would be happening. Summer camps can go on with a little bit larger population than maybe we thought. But for all of those guidelines, you can reach out to the health department website, or the township website has significant information there. So please look into that if you need any of those services. Regarding recycling, we have a recycling update. Recycling, obviously extremely important, but even more effective is reducing the amount of waste that each of us create, and also find ways to reuse as much as possible. Finding ways to reduce or reuse is the best way to save natural resources, reduce the amount of material that is dumped in a landfill, and save money. On the township website, there is a recycling icon, and you can click on that to learn more ways to recycle, reuse, and ultimately consume less. From our recreation department, We had our rec meeting last week. I know we've been trying to figure out what to do with some of the township events. I do have some sad news. I don't think it's surprising, but due to the COVID-19 and the inability to have mass gatherings, at least at this point, that would allow us to do it, we are going to need to cancel or defer our Family Fun Day fireworks. The music festival that goes along with that, that we've scheduled for this year, will be postponed. We're just not in a position to be able to have those types of events. Certainly the fireworks is something that I look forward to with my family every year. I know many families do. I am very hopeful that we will be able to reschedule that for some time later in the summer when larger gatherings that would be needed can happen safely for our residents. We are working with the fireworks company to be able to provide a date subsequent to what we had scheduled so that we can still have that really wonderful event that we do here in Hillsborough. So more information to come there, but I just wanted to give everyone notice that we will be canceling that event. And that was originally scheduled to be held on June 29th, I believe. Pam? June 29th was?
Yes.
Yeah. As I noted a little bit earlier, we do have some summer camp information. So good news came from Trenton that we can have summer camps with some restrictions, but we do have summer camps scheduled to open on July the 6th. More information will be forthcoming regarding our camps and summer programs as it relates to recreation. So we do have some availability within our camps. I think many parents are not sure what they're going to do at this point with their children, but anyone that would like to utilize our camps, please let our rec department know, or you can go on the township website under recreation and get more details on the camp program. Additionally, with the lifting of restrictions today and increasing the amount of people that are allowed to gather, we will be opening the dog park along with our skate park out at Ann Van Middlesworth Park first thing tomorrow morning. So I know that'll be a welcome event for many of our kids and residents here in town. We've unfortunately had to have them closed, but with the guidance today, I'm looking forward to getting those open. I know our rec team is anxious to get that open as well. We continue to offer some virtual camps in recreation, so we will have virtual basketball, tennis, soccer, and a music academy. Registration will be starting tomorrow, that's June the 10th at 9 a.m., so please feel free to log on to the website and go and register for those virtual programs. This is only the beginning of our summer program here in Hillsborough. We do expect, and residents can expect, that we'll have both virtual and in-person programs, camps, and clinics as the summer moves forward. We'll certainly provide more information as it becomes available, and as noted, please continue to check the Parks and Recreation website as well as the e-newsletter for additional information on recreation offerings. And finally for me, a sustainable update for the months of February and April 2020. Nikita Agarwal of Girl Scout Troop 60364, as part of her Gold Award project, partnered with Hillsborough Township to conduct the Hillsborough Compost Challenge 2020. A digital and in-person outreach was initiated to spread awareness about the importance of composting. This effort included a Green Challenge component where 360 Hillsborough households pledged to exceeding the 2.5% population requirement for sustainable Jersey. This accounts for almost 1 ton of waste that could be removed from every 100 tons disposed. Congratulations to Nikita on her excellent work, and Christina Stump for winning the free compost bin. To learn more about composting, please visit sustainablehillsborough.com. Great little project, and always nice to get Sustainable Jersey accreditation. So thank you to Nikita for that project. That's all from me, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Committeeman. I just want to thank the Parks and Rec Committee, because I know they worked tirelessly trying to come up with different scenarios where we could have the fireworks, the music fest, et cetera. So I am saddened, but I think the governor's announcement today that on July 6th, he expects that the most you could gather outside is 500, and we draw several thousands to the event. It's sad, but again, thank you, Committeeman Delacour, Committeewoman Holmes for serving on Parks and Rec, and for the entire committee coming to that decision. It's sad, but unfortunately, it's necessary. The other thing you mentioned was about our food pantry. I just got done signing a stack of letters that would make a hand cramp.
Yeah.
So the outpouring of our community has been absolutely amazing.
The generosity is staggering, and it's incredible to see. It really is. If, for those of you that haven't had a chance to come in and see the amount of food and donation that are part of, that are in the building here, it's a good thing we don't have the building open because we don't have space to run certain programs because we have so many donations in the building. Our community is amazing, and I'm really proud to be part of it.
Thank you. Committeeman McCauley.
Thank you, Mayor. Quick question, though. Is there any update on the Clue game going on in town?
It's
Because,
still ongoing.
all right, well, I'm a big Clue fan, for any of those who know me, and I was out walking one of our parks recently and saw a Clue, hint, hint, for those watching, and it was fun. It was fun to just see that, and I think it's a really cool idea that the Parks and Rec Department came up with, too. So if you're out, I'm curious to know how many people actually solve the Clue game, so maybe we can get an update from you guys later. With that said, thank you for being here tonight, everybody, and I just wanted to give a quick update. So according to NJDOT Policy 346, the township usually has to commit to 25% of electrical costs associated with revision of existing traffic signals, left-hand turns, et cetera. And the township requested to install a dedicated left turn arrow on Raider Boulevard a while ago, and I believe the collaboration with the engineering department, our police department, and the administrative staff, they sent a note to the DOT to revisit the cost sharing of this particular dedicated left turn arrow. And with the information sent regarding crash data and traffic turning movement count data for this intersection, the state revisited as such and took into consideration this is a phasing for safety. So as such, they will forego the township's responsibility to take 25% of the electrical costs from the township. And some things like this happen on a daily basis, not always daily, but this is pretty significant. I just wanted to call out and say thank you to the collaboration of those departments, because any cost savings we can have, certainly to Hillsborough. And I want to say thank you to the state for revisiting that and taking into consideration of it turning into a safety issue. So we will be having left-hand turn signal there. Due to the constraints they have at the state level right now, they're not sure of a timeline of when it will be done, but they will notify us, but it will be on their list and will be completed in the earliest possible time frame. So thank you to everybody there. From Finance, the township will be issuing the estimated third quarter tax bills. The bills will be a small single sheet and will be for the August payment only. The ShopRite credits will be applied to those bills as well. So the Finance Department will be mailing the bills during the week of June 22nd. So you should look into your mailboxes the week thereafter or some days thereafter to see what they, if you don't receive them, please call the Finance Department, because sometimes the mail has been quite slow. I know I'm having trouble getting my mail these days sometimes, so. The clerk's office, I just wanted to have another reminder that June 16th is the last day to register to vote in the July primary. The primary will be held on July 7th, and voting by mail for the primary is encouraged. All registered Democratic voters will receive a Democratic mail-in ballot with prepaid postage. All registered Republican voters will receive a Republican mail-in ballot, again with prepaid postage, and all registered unaffiliated and inactive voters will receive a mail-in ballot application with prepaid postage, so keep your eyes out for that. To receive the ballot by mail, the application must be received by the county clerk 7 days prior to the election. A voter may also return the application in person to the county clerk until Election Day, but the voted ballot must be returned by 8 p.m. The county clerk cannot accept faxed or emailed copies of an application for vote by mail-in ballot unless you're a military or overseas voter, since an original signature is required for that. So an update here, there will be drop boxes located in several locations throughout the county. All voted ballots must be in a drop box, returned to the Board of Elections, or postmarked by 8 p.m. on Election Day. The important to note here, in-person voting will be via provisional ballot only, if you're not familiar with it. Do we have that online at all, Pam, a provisional ballot?
No.
Okay.
Provisional ballots are not made available online.
Okay. So, it's just, you have to fill out the information basically by hand, unless the voter is visually impaired or otherwise certifies as a disability, which requires an accessible voting machine. They will have that there for those purposes, but otherwise, if you do visit a polling location, it will be required to vote on a provisional ballot. So a couple of changes there. I think that's it for me this evening, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Committee Women Holmes.
Good evening. Later on in this agenda, there will be a presentation for the Deer Management Program. As you will see, this program has a very successful track record, and we look forward to working with the Commission this year. Just a reminder, there are several Hillsborough farms open and offering services for our community as an additional resource for healthy, natural, and fresh food. For the latest information regarding the Hillsborough farming community, their hours, when they're open, please visit hillsboroughbusiness.org and click on the Hillsborough Harvest icon, or visit the HBA Facebook page. Just another reminder that there is still time to complete your census. The census is important because it impacts future planning and funding for the infrastructure, future employment, training, and health care programs. To learn more about the impacts of the census or to complete it online, visit the website 2020census.gov. Take a few minutes and complete your census. That's it for me tonight here.
Thank you.
We have a quick video on the census.
Oh, yeah, please. Kaz, can you see the video?
It's going to work.
Is the 2020 census. Every 10 years, the census records everyone living in this country. It's written in the Constitution and comes in a questionnaire that counts everyone who lives at your address on April 1st. The data can be used to inform funding for services like fire stations, schools, clinics, and representation that affect your community. Shape your future. Start here. Visit 2020census.gov.
Great, thank you for that. Looking at our numbers, it looks like, and I apologize to anyone, you might have said this, but we're at 72.3% right now return rate, which is great, but there's 7 municipalities still beating us right now in terms of the response, so I'm pretty sure we can get ours up and catch the winner right now, which is Bernard's, which is at 78.4. So I'm confident we can blow past them. So everyone tell your neighbors, fill out the form. We've already received it. It's easy to do. It takes seconds, so please fill out the census. Deputy Mayor LaPanny.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few things. Some ongoing information from the building department. They have recently launched their SDL portal. Through this, you can check the status of your application permit, see inspection requests, see other permit information with regards to your application. You go to the www.sdlportal.com and start utilizing its convenient features today. And obviously will allow you to monitor the status of all your applications and your permits. The engineering department is just giving us a quick update on our 2020 paving program. Due to the COVID situation, we put a big use of the lack of traffic, so most of all of our projects that were slated for 2020 are already completed. Willow Road Phase 1 between Amel Road and Valinor Drive is completed. Andrea Drive completed. Hillsborough Road between Bypass and Willow Road is completed. Brooks Boulevard completed. Wardsville Road completed. And East Mountain Road completed. Really what's left in the Green Hills area should be completed at the end of June. Camplain Road will be delayed due to PSE&G work on gas main replacements. Willow Road Phase 2 between Valinor and Hillsborough Road is under NJDOT review, and paving is planned for fall of 2020 or roll over to spring of 2021 if needed. So good job by our engineering department getting everything in, our finance department getting our ducks in a row, and we got everything done while nobody was on the road. So now they can use a nice new road to go to work on, and if they can get back soon. The DPW is back in full swing, as people have noted. The annual cleanup and drop-off program, along with many other infrastructure repairs and maintenance items. The crack sealing program will be taking place in the near future. This is important maintenance item, helping prolong the life of our roadways by keeping damaged moisture out of the subsurface materials of the road. The town's accomplished a great deal of ditch maintenance this spring, also to assure that the proper flow of water runoff from the more rural roadways. The department would also like to extend a thank you to the Borough of Raritan for donating a Mack garbage truck to our township that they were going to put on public auction. This will be utilized to help our senior curbside pickups and clean communities programs in the upcoming days. So thank you to Raritan, the Borough of Raritan. The HBA would like to recognizing significant financial loss and hardship occurred by our food establishment community due to the COVID-19 pandemic and restrictions placed upon their operations. As a result, due to the new order issued by our governor for outdoor dining being able to start next week, we are offering a no-cost temporary dining permit. The application will be through the zoning department and will be available online soon on our website. I was talking to Anthony, the form has been approved, and so essentially we just fill out this application. There'll be no cost, so that we just know who's doing what they're doing. Please support our local businesses by utilizing on a nice spring or summer fall day. Sit outside. We've always wanted to have more outside dining, so if you want to take a bonus out of this whole thing, now you can go sit outside and have dinner with your family and enjoy getting out of the house. Also, you can keep up to date on other issues that are in the Experience Hillsborough for Business, and obviously today's Takeout Tuesday, as we always note, and posted on our Facebook page, #HBAStrong. A couple of small notes. Obviously, this one is a little regretful. I've been informed officially the Rotary Fair has been canceled for 2020. The vendor, due to the COVID restriction, will be unable to have any fairs this year, not only ours, but so all these summer festivals have been canceled by this vendor. So we thank you all for your past support, and we'll hope to see you again next year if we're able to do fairs. But as of now, this year, it is canceled. And last note, as a little privilege, I'd like to extend a very happy birthday to my daughter Anastasia, who's 23 today. Part of being in this office is that you miss functions, and I'm sure you all know that, but I'm proud of you, and happy birthday. I'll see you later.
Happy
That's
birthday,
it.
Anastasia.
Happy birthday. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Couple things from me. First, I just wanted to thank the Interfaith Community Action Network of Somerset County for organizing a virtual vigil for justice and peace in memory of George Floyd and all lives that were lost to injustice. They held that on Sunday. It was profoundly moving. I want to thank all the individuals who spoke at that. It was a great event that was held virtually, and again, I just want to thank the Interfaith Community Action Network for putting that on. I also want to thank Dr. Trablinski from our middle school. Him and I believe it was 7 students and I participated in a Zoom call to talk about a resolution we did a couple weeks ago regarding gun violence. They wanted to talk about sort of our thoughts, what action they could take in a municipality like ours regarding school safety, et cetera. This was an amazing group of students, so I just want to thank them for allowing me to partake in their discussion. And I challenge them that they now have to come up with action items, a way to how they can make our community safer and all communities across the country. And I have every faith that they will be sending me an email shortly with some of their ideas. So again, I just want to thank them and thank the principal of the middle school for arranging that event. As everyone knows and was mentioned a few times, there's been new executive orders regarding COVID. The most recent executive orders regarding pools and things like that, we are using our Reopen Hillsborough Task Force to get us as ready as possible, as quick as possible to make sure that Hillsborough can bounce back from COVID quickly. We are already looking about how we can have people back into this meeting space. It was something we were discussing earlier, whether or not that's legally allowed under the executive orders or not. But as soon as we can have the public back in here, we can't wait for that to happen. Social distancing is still in place. Masks are still required. And you can visit the state's website. I believe it's just COVID-19 .nj.us for the information about what the latest are. However, I am extremely pleased to report that as of right now, today, we have no new cases, and we have no new deaths related to COVID today, and we have another recovery. So although this is a slow build, I just want to thank everyone for doing their best. And I know it's been difficult, and it has not been fun by any stretch adhering to all the governor's executive orders. However, it does seem like they are making a difference, and I do hope that our numbers remain flat from this day forward. Just a quick update. I know I received a couple inquiries regarding Apex and some trees that were located along Mountain View Road. There were trees that were being taken down after some consideration between the owner of Apex and the municipality. It was agreed upon that all the existing trees are going to remain, and the landscaping plan will be revised so that the new plantings will be positioned in a way to aid the existing trees and not choke them out, which was, I guess, an original concern. So I just wanted to give an update. Thank you for the emails I received on that. And as you heard from Deputy Mayor Lapani, outdoor dining will be starting soon. This is just another step in the reopen process, and the task force that I previously mentioned will continue to meet every Thursday in an effort to get us as ready as possible to open back up. The Business Advocate's Office and Health Department will continue to visit businesses and assist with guidance on the executive orders and required safety measures. Should you have any questions or concerns, please contact the Hillsborough Health Department at 908-369-5652 or the Business Advocate's Office at 369-3533. Quick update on the bypass, and despite COVID-19 and a few minor operational issues, it is anticipated that the Route 206 bypass will remain on target for completion by the end of 2020. So I'm very glad to hear that. I also want to thank the Ragrod family for donating a class of 2020 banner to honor our Hillsborough High School graduating class. Candace, her husband Paul, her children Kenzie, Jordan, and Abby all came out and took a picture. This could have been Tokor. I believe it's up right now. That one is on the corner of Beekman and Amwell. However, we're also going to be putting one on our municipal grounds here at the municipal building, and the Route 206 Firehouse was gracious enough to allow us to put one up there, so I'll also have one there as well. So again, thank you for that extremely generous personal donation to honor our high school students that are graduating this year. As always, you can stay connected with all events and more via the Friday e-newsletter. I believe we're moving that to Wednesday shortly. But right now we're doing 3 newsletters a week, but that will change. TV 29 and the Hillsborough YouTube channel showcase our meetings, and the Hillsborough The Good Life episodes, and Hillsborough alerts for traffic and emergency notifications. At this time, we're going to move to proclamations, and despite not being able to have any members of the public attend these meetings, we will bring forth awareness to related proclamations as we feel is appropriate. And first up this evening is one in memory of William Rocco Shields de Gregorio. William Rocco Shields de Gregorio, I apologize, stepson of devoted Hillsborough Board of Education employee Kathy Major, passed away on Tuesday, June 2nd, 2020, at the young age of 11 after a long battle with pediatric cancer. Will loved sports, especially baseball, and even after particularly difficult surgery removing most of his hip and anticipated years of rehabilitation, he returned to the pitching mound in just 6 months. Will's favorite color was blue, which represented all his favorite sports teams, the New York Giants, the New York Rangers, and the New York Yankees. His favorite season was winter, and he loved sledding. Will's beautiful blue eyes, infectious smile, and giggle brightened every room he entered and put all at ease around him. Will was the ultimate fighter and never gave up. He touched so many lives, and his strength, wit, smile, and love of life will live on and not be forgotten. Now, therefore, be proclaimed that we, the mayor and the Hillsborough Township Committee, do hereby commend and honor William for his courage, bravery, compassion, and spirit. And if you don't mind, if we could just take a quick moment of silence for Will. Thank you.
Mayor, his mom might be on. I'm not sure. She might
Do we want to, if we could just open up the bridge for 1 second, I believe Kathy may be on. I don't know if she'd like to say anything. Kathy, are you on the phone?
All participants are now in interactive talk mode.
Kathy, are you on the line?
All participants
Doesn't seem so. We can go ahead and mute it.
All participants are now
Okay.
in listen-only mode.
Now we're going to move on and do a resolution for Pride Month. And whereas the month of June was designated Pride Month to commemorate the Stonewall riots, which occurred in June of 1969, and are generally recognized as the catalyst of the LGBTQ rights movement. And whereas the Township of Hillsborough is a welcoming community and an acceptable place to live, learn, work, play, and raise a family, the Hillsborough Township lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community is a vital part of all fields and professions and contributes to a stronger community. And whereas Hillsborough Township is dedicated to fostering acceptance of all of its citizens and preventing discrimination and bullying based on sexual orientation and gender identity, our community is strengthened and by and thrives upon the rich diversity of ethnic, cultural, racial, gender, and sexual identities of all of our residents, all of which contribute to the vibrant character of Hillsborough. Now therefore be proclaimed that we, the mayor and the Hillsborough Township Committee, do hereby recognize June as Pride Month and urge all residents to recognize the contributions made by members of the LGBTQ community and to actively promote the principles of equality and liberty. So that concludes our proclamations. We're going to move on to new business, including public comment on matters not on the agenda this evening. So at this time,
Budget presentation first? No.
no, the budget's going to come next.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So we're going to, did anyone send in email on an item that is not on the agenda this evening? Ms. Borak? Do you want me to open up the bridge first? Okay. First, we're going to go ahead and open up the bridge. So if you are a member of the public, if you can mute your line if you are not speaking first, that'd be extremely helpful. Also, if you could state your name and address for the record. And again, this is for items not on the agenda this evening.
All participants are now in interactive talk mode.
So at this time, if you could please state your name and address if you'd like to say something for the record. Seeing none, if we could go ahead and mute that.
All participants are now in listen-only mode.
Thank you. Did we receive any emails?
No.
None?
Not on
Okay.
the agenda.
Okay, not related to the agenda, thank you. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our municipal budget. Each year, the preparation of the municipal budget creates the challenge of minimizing the impact on property taxpayers while providing the township departments with the funds necessary to deliver needed and expected services for our residents. This year, amid COVID-19, that challenge was even greater. It is through our continued diligence and dedication that we are able to introduce a municipal budget for the third year in a row that has a reduction to the municipal portion of your tax bill. In a moment, I will call upon our CFO, Nancy Costa, to make her budget presentation. However, first, I would like to thank the full finance team, Liaison to Finance, Committeewoman Gloria McCauley, our Administrator, Anthony Ferreira, our CFO, Nancy Costa, and all of our municipal department heads for their hard work and diligence in preparation for 2020 municipal budget. I'd like to add one more thing. I think anyone who served on this township committee knows that for years we've been trying to make sure our budgets aren't filled by one-time gimmicks or things that we don't believe that are necessarily sustainable. I know that our colleagues in other municipalities right now are going through situations that because of loss of revenue, relying on hotels and other services like that have an extremely, it's just devastating their budgets. We do not have that situation, and because of our long-term planning, we've been in a much better situation. So again, I want to thank our CFO and our administrator, Anthony Ferreira, because he has been planning for a COVID-style disaster for years in Hillsborough, requiring that our department heads take home laptops and be prepared to work off-site at any moment. And I think the budget is a reflection of just that preparedness and making sure that we're not a one-time sort of portion of the budget. So again, I just want to thank everyone who served on the budget committee this year, or finance team. With that, I'm going to read the budget resolutions into the record. First, Resolution 1, authorizing the introduction of the 2020 municipal budget, setting the public hearing for July 14th, 2020. And Resolution 2, authorizing self-examination of the 2020 municipal budget. May I have a motion to approve the above-mentioned budget resolutions?
So moved.
Second?
Any comments from the dais?
Not yet.
None? Any comments from the floor, so we're going to open up the bridge, and we didn't receive any via
All
email.
participants are now in interactive talk mode.
Okay, just a reminder, this is the introduction of the budget, and they'll still need a full hearing on July 14th. But is there any comments online or via phone regarding this resolution, these two resolutions? Is there any comments online or phone regarding this? Seeing none, if we could close the bridge, and
All
again, I would
participants are now in listen-only mode.
encourage everyone, if you could please mute your lines. Thank you, I appreciate that. Could we do a roll call, please?
Committeeman Delport.
Yes.
Committeewoman Holmes.
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Yes?
Deputy Mayor Lapani.
Yes.
Mayor Thompson.
Yes. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Cotta to begin the budget presentation. And after her presentation, I'll be happy to entertain any comments from the dais regarding the introduced budget. Let's go back this way.
Thank you, Mayor Thompson, and welcome everyone to the 2020 municipal budget. The 2020 municipal budget totals $29,994,725, which is $172,000 less than the budget we introduced in 2019. It will be funded by $9,933,937 in anticipated revenues and a tax levy of $20,060,788. This will result in a municipal tax rate of .316 cents per $100 of assessed value, which is lower than the 2019 municipal tax rate. The tax levy and the state aid make up 78% of the revenues in this budget. Items such as licenses, permits, shared services, and court fines provide additional revenues. The township continues to pursue shared services in addition to the existing shared service agreements we have currently for court services and health officers, and we are looking into grant opportunities for every department within this township. The township was forced to take a very conservative approach when budgeting revenues this year in anticipation of lower revenues from several key line items, including the municipal court and the building department, as a result of the COVID-19 crisis. The township continues to see increases in interest income as a result of the banking services agreement that we bid out in 2018. Should a municipality wish to increase their tax levy by more than the 2% cap, they could do so by adding additional costs of mandated pension contributions, debt service, and capital improvement funding. Those allowances would have totaled $26,213 this year. Since 2011, the township could have increased taxes by over $2.1 million by using these exceptions, but chose never to do so. This year's tax levy increase, once again, has stayed below the 2% allowable cap. In 2020, 27% of the budget expenditures will go towards public safety, with Public Works at 14% and our other departments at 15%, and insurance and benefits equating to 15% of our spending, which is flat with last year's spending. This chart shows the trend in the three major components of our tax bill: the school, the county, and the municipal. County and municipal taxes have stayed relatively level, but in the 6-year period shown, school taxes have increased over 6 cents per $100 of assessed value. And school taxes make up 66.5% of our total tax rate. County taxes make up 17%, and municipal taxes 13%. The township's rateable base increased from both assessed values, from added new construction, and the ongoing annual reassessment program. This provided a larger total assessed value over which the tax levy can be distributed, which contributed to the municipal tax rate decrease from .319 to .316 this year, making this our third consecutive year in which the municipal tax rate has decreased. The public hearing on this budget will be held on July 14th, and this full budget document will be available on the township's website tomorrow.
Great.
Thank
Thank you. I'm going to turn it over to my colleagues on the dais for any comments before I might make a couple extra. Was there anyone on the dais who'd like to make a comment?
Mayor, I'll just thank Ms. Costa for her ongoing diligent work on our budgets as usual, and also Anthony Ferrer for utilizing all the savings that he looks for in shared services and grants, et cetera. And nowhere else has it been more evident in this year when the monies aren't necessarily all going to be there. So this is the kind of forethought and responsible government that you can see by 3 straight years of a tax decrease amongst some troubled times that I'm proud to be part of. And thank you again for all your work.
Thank you.
Just a couple comments from myself. I know Doug and I and Nancy had sat down, and when we heard about COVID and all of the disasters that was bringing along with the situation and the pandemic, we really started to panic. And I think Nancy calmed our nerves when she had discussed with us that most of our revenues are continuing to come in, not all of them, but with the due diligence of the past years and the savings and paying down our debt in a responsible manner, we are able to deliver this year's budget with such great news. I'm really, it was shocking for us to sit down and go through the numbers and have a relief with the fact that we can cover the budget this year. Unless we have something that happens the next couple of months, this is just the introduction. We still have some work to do on going through some of the specifics. But wanted to say thank you again to all of the staff here at the Township, all the department heads, and especially our CFO for keeping on top of us and how we're spending our money and how we can save the taxpayer dollars as well. So really proud so far, and I'm sure it's going to stay about the same, hopefully. And wanted to say thank you to the mayor as well as participating in the budget process this year, and all of us for being diligent in following the last several years of delivering very cautious budgets. So thank you again to Nancy Costa, our CFO, and department heads, Anthony Ferreira, Pam, our clerk, and everyone who diligently tries to be very cognizant of our spending in the township. Thank you.
Thank you, and I think I'll just add one last thing. And when Committeeman Macaulay and I going into this as COVID really started, I mean, that's when we started our budget process back in March, where we really start trying to look at what our key objectives are for the next year. We had to look at our department heads and say we need to start cutting back out of these concerns. So I'm very proud of the budget that's put before us. I hope it meets acceptance from all my colleagues up here at our next meeting. With that, that's all my comments. Do we need to open it up to public?
Mayor, can I?
I'm sorry. Yeah. I apologize.
Just real quick. Sometimes it sounds like it's a little cliche that we say we're trying to plan for today and for the future. We're trying to take conservative approaches in the budget process. We're trying to conduct good governance, and I don't mean us. I mean the entire municipal government here, led by our administrator. And Ms. Costa, thank you for your finance stuff. But when you end up in a situation like we're experiencing now, you see where those measures become most fruitful, because we're in a space now where we don't have devastating impacts, or we don't have a lack of funding because we didn't put away for a rainy day, or we spent ourselves into oblivion. And now we have it's evident in budgets like this where that becomes most meaningful. So I just want to thank all of the employees and our municipal workers for working to make sure that when events like we're experiencing now happen, that we're able to withstand it. So I appreciate the good government that our employees, our leaders here undertake every day. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the dais? Good? Okay. We'll open it up to the floor. If you could just open up the bridge, if there's any questions on the presentation.
All participants are now in interactive talk mode.
As a reminder, if you have a comment, please state your name and address for the record. And again, this budget document will be on our website early tomorrow morning. Any comments on the phone? Seeing none, if we can mute the line.
All participants are now in listen-only mode.
Okay. Moving on to introduction of new ordinances. 2020-18, an ordinance to exceed the 2020 municipal budget appropriation limits and establish a cap bank. Further consideration at a public hearing will be held on July 14th, 2020. Under state budget law, the unused portion of the appropriations cap, which is different than the tax levy cap, may be reserved to be available in the next 2 years. Each year since 2002, Hillsborough has been able to reserve some funds in the cap bank. The cap bank has no impact on our taxes. May I have a motion to introduce this ordinance?
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. Any comments from the dais? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Committeeman Delcor?
Yes.
Committeewoman Holmes?
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lapani?
Yes.
Mayor Thompson?
Yes. Next up this evening, we have our annual Wildlife Commission presentation. I believe Ms. Borak, our Township Clerk, will be providing the overview. I just want to thank our Wildlife Commission, headed by Dr. Bob Matros, Tom Ross, and Officer Mazzaros for all their hard work on this commission. So, Ms. Borak?
As they plan each year, safety is the number one priority. Since the inception of the program in 2004, the Wildlife Management Commission is proud to announce and that they have a 100% safety record for all the hunters involved. The above information is gathered from the surveys that are turned in each year. 54 surveys this year were turned in, which represents 90%. 88 deer were harvested from the township property, 16 via firearms, 72 via archery, 29 were males, 59 were females. In days hunted, that came out to be 882 days of hunting during that period of time, represented by the sum of all the hunters.
Archery.
This one got a little floopy, sorry, I don't know what happened, but the numbers for the deer marked during automobile collisions has gone dramatically down since the inception of the program in 2004, where there was 333 recorded accidents with motor vehicles and deer, down to 106 reported in 2019. Over the course of the whole period, it's been 4,252 accidents. So despite all the other increases that are happening in town, we are seeing the deer collision as a result of the success of this program being reduced. Donated deer, a big portion of what they do in the deer management programs, they donate the venison to the food bank program. There was 23 deer donated in process, which represented about 900 pounds of meat to help the hungry. Recommendations for the 2020-21 hunting season include keeping up with that Helping the Hungry Venison Food Bank program. They use the permit fees to offset the processing fees of the meat, and to continue to invite the New Jersey Fish and Wildlife to the annual hunter orientation meeting to provide tree stand safety and general hunting guidelines and safety to help and maintain the program's 100% safety record, which they are so proud of. That's all she wrote.
Thanks, Graham.
All right, thank you for that. Next up, we're going to be moving on to our public hearing. This is a public hearing on 2020-16 ordinance amending Chapter 188 Land Use and Development, Article 5 Districts and Standards, Section 188.13.4 GV Green Village District, Section 188.13.5 Town Center District, and adding a new Section 188.13.8 Multifamily Inclusionary District, MFI D1. Further consideration of public hearing will be held today. As I mentioned in 2 letters out to the public, I received a considerable emails from residents concerning this ordinance. So what I've asked my colleagues, or what I'm going to be asking my colleagues, that although this is a public hearing, we are going to defer all comment on this, and we're going to take it up at a meeting on June 23rd. We are adding a meeting to our agenda to hear this. I thank Committeeman Delcor and Deputy Mayor Lapani. They approached me after some difficulties during the planning board hearing, and a couple of residents said that they had trouble hearing on the planning board hearing. So we're going to be exploring a different way to participate for that next meeting. That'll be up and running. Details on that shortly. However, again, at this time, we are going to have to open up the meeting because we legally said we were going to, but our planner is not on the line to answer any questions, and we're not going to answer any questions and defer that into our next meeting as promised on June 23rd. So I will not be reading the entire ordinance into the record at this time, since we're going to be, again, discussing this on June 23rd. So just to be clear, I have to make a motion to open it up, but then not take a vote. Is that correct? From my attorney and from
You're going to
Pam?
motion to open the public hearing, and you're going to,
Just not take a vote on
correct,
it.
and we're going to carry it to the 23rd.
So motion to open followed by a request to continue.
Okay. So may I have a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance 2020-16?
So move, Mayor?
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, is there any comments on the dais? Seeing none, is there any comments from the floor, keeping in mind that we are delaying this hearing and creating a special meeting on June 23rd to answer questions and to discuss this? If we could open the bridge.
All participants are now in interactive talk mode.
If there's anyone on the line who'd like to comment on this ordinance, again, we are holding it into the next meeting.
I have a comment. I wish you would have told us that. We've been online for an hour waiting to be heard. If you already knew that this was not going to take place tonight, you should have at least sent us all an email letting us know that this was going to happen.
Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
My name is Maria Palmer at 34 Huey Lane.
Thank you. We sent out an email yesterday and an email again today. However, if you would like, if you visit our website, there is a section for e-news. If you could put in your email address, and we can make sure that you will continue to get all the latest updates about Hillsborough Township via there. But I do apologize that you didn't get that notice in advance. Okay. Any other comments? If not, we're going to close the bridge. Seeing none, if you could close that.
All
Thank you.
participants are now in listen-only mode.
So at this time, I am not going to take a motion on this. However, I am going to defer this until the June 23rd meeting that we're adding. It will not be renoticed. However, it will certainly be on our agenda. But again, it will not be renoticed. That just means you won't be getting a letter in the mail if you live
Do we
within
need a
the
motion
township.
to continue?
Yes.
Well,
Take
yes,
a motion to hold-
I think that was already done, now we just need a roll call on it, right?
Let me just be clear. I would like to entertain a motion to carry this until June 23rd without any additional notice. Is that good?
So
Yes.
moved.
I guess I move. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call?
Committeewoman Delcor.
Yes.
Committeewoman Holmes.
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lapani.
Yes.
Mayor Thompson.
Yes. And thank you, everyone, for accommodating us on that we will be creating a meeting for that hearing, so I do appreciate it. Moving on to resolutions, there are 10 of them this evening. However, I would like to take number 8 separately on the consent agenda, if everyone is okay with that. We are? Okay. I'm just going to read the consent, this one into the record and do a separate vote on that. Whereas recent tragedies in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and throughout our nation have again shown a light on systemic racism and the current and historic disparate treatment of African Americans and black people in our country. And whereas we are saddened at the murders of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and countless others, and Hillsborough Township condemns all forms of racism and supports and protects all of its residents, no matter their ethnicity, race, faith, sexual orientation, or gender. And whereas Hillsborough Township is proactive regarding this sensitive topic, and on January 28, 2020, issued a proclamation in honor of the National Day of Racial Healing. And whereas we support and commit to calling out hate and discrimination when we see it and help promote our core American value that no one should be targeted because of their identity. And whereas violence and hate crimes create fearful and unstable communities. And whereas public servants, we have an even greater responsibility to speak out against racism, discrimination, bias, and hatred because when the unacceptable becomes the norm in our society, human rights for all are threatened. And whereas Hillsborough Township affirms and commits to protect the rights of people, and whereas hate will not be tolerated, and we will stand together to fight and form any form of bigotry, discrimination, or hate in speech or in action against any group from whatever that source. Now therefore be resolved by the Township of Hillsborough, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, that the Hillsborough Township Committee wholeheartedly condemns the actions and injustices that have again wrought division and crisis in our community and across the United States, and that Hillsborough Township recommits to working on ways in which we can engage our communities to address and uproot institutionalized racism and implicit bias and offer spaces for dialogue, trainings, and understanding. Therefore, be resolved and reaffirmed that Hillsborough Township will maintain constant vigilance with regard to its own public safety policies and actions, and do everything in its power to make certain that Hillsborough is and will remain a welcome community opposed to acts of racism and bigotry. May I have a motion?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments from the dais? Seeing none, if we could open up the bridge for comments from the floor or audience.
All participants are now in interactive talk mode.
Does anyone have a comment on resolution number 8?
All participants are now in listen-only mode.
If we could do a roll call, please.
Committeeman Delcor.
Yes.
Committeewoman Holmes.
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lapani.
Yes.
Mayor Thompson.
Yes, and personally, I want to thank each one of my colleagues who did reach out to me separately. All of us individually reach out to me on this to make sure that we had something on our agenda. It's nice that we could do that all together on this, so I do appreciate it, so thank you. May I have a motion to, let me ask, does anyone want to take anything besides number 8 separately? Seeing none, may I have a motion to approve the above resolutions 1 through 7 and 9 through 10?
So moved.
Second?
Okay. Are there any comments from the dais?
I know it was commented out earlier. I just wanted to thank everyone that worked to get the outdoor establishment, getting the processing and the issuance of those zoning permits done quickly. I know our business community is anxious to implement them, and I know there are many of us that would love to sit at one of our local restaurants and have a meal, so look forward to that.
Definitely.
Yep. Thank you. Yes, thank you to everyone who got that fast track so we could get that ready to go to help our businesses. Any other comments on from the dais? Seeing none, if we could open up the bridge.
All participants are now in interactive talk mode.
Are there any other comments from individuals online concerning agenda items 1 through 7 and then agenda item 9 through 10? Seeing none, if we could go ahead and close the bridge.
All participants are now in listen-only mode.
All right, if we could have a roll call on that, please.
Committeeman Delcor.
Yes.
Committeewoman Holmes.
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lapani.
Yes.
Mayor Thompson.
Yes, may I have a motion to approve claims list 2020-11?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any comments from the dais? Any comments from the floor? If we could open up the
All
bridge.
participants are now in interactive talk mode.
Are there any individuals online who are on the phone, I should say, that would like to comment on the bill list, or claims list? Seeing none, if we could close
All
that.
participants are now in listen-only mode.
All right, roll call, please.
Committeeman Delcor.
Yes.
Committeewoman Holmes.
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lapani.
Yes.
Mayor Thompson.
Yes, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
That one everyone jumps for. Can I one of you give a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.